Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. By the time you guys are seeing this, the patch will have already been released, but I played a best of 5 with Exploding Hamster, a very, very good tournament player and German-speaking content creator. So, for those of you guys who speak German, don't watch his channel, definitely go check him out. We're going to be starting our best of 5 off with a classic matchup, High Elves versus Dark Elves, so let's go ahead and take a look. I brought basically a DLC build. We've got a front line of Silver and Guard, a couple of Rangers, ELTHARION the Grim on horseback, some Archers here, a Lion Chariot, and a couple of Illyrian Reavers. A couple of War Lions here, including the ROR, or no, actually not including the ROR, just a couple of regular War Lions and a couple more Reavers. Exploding Hamster's gone with a bit of a themed build, which is naked women. For the Dark Elves, he's got a bunch of Witch Elves, Sisters of Slaughter here, a Bloodrack Shrine, Bloodrack Medusa, MORATHI on foot leading the way, some more Witch Elves, and so on. Harpies up in the air to act as a mobile screening force. And yeah, we're going to get things underway here. Going to be kind of squaring up into position and try to play off of my Archers here. I do have pretty superior range. I mean, the Bloodrack Shrine can kind of pick away at my frontline units, but I believe the ammunition, it does deal magic damage. I think it's still probably enough to one-shot these Silver and Guard. I don't know, though. They only took one model damage from that volley, so I think actually the magic resistance will help them resist that fire of the Bloodrack Medusa. And just in general, Silver and Guard in this matchup, I mean, they're going to be great against Tombfire Warlocks. Just, they're going to be good in a lot of matchups, I actually think. But yeah, just kind of patiently waiting forward. You can see here the Archers are definitely going to be very strong in mowing down these light armor kind of high value units, of which there are plenty, but I do need to be careful. Cairns of Cain swooping down in the back line, helping to tie down my Archers. I'm going to use the Reaver's charge bonus to countercharge them. Harpies actually have pretty decent melee defense, and so we definitely need that charge bonus of the Reavers to overcome. We're going to get them in here. You can see the various Witch Elves and so on charging in the front line. Silver and Guard braced, obviously, against the charge. The Rangers, unfortunately, don't get a counter charge, but they were helping to fend off the Harpies. And keep in mind, Harpies do count as infantry, so the Rangers there, it'll help them. Soul Stealer being cast here while I cast a Tempest over there. Well, where is ELTHARION at? Let's check in with him. Not 100% sure. Looks like he's just supporting the back line, but the Lions come in for a nice charge here. Again, trying to break up as many of these Harpies and other lighter units as we can. Archers are taking some damage for sure, but we've managed to actually push back a lot of these light units. The Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter just not doing too well. Actually, the Sisters, I think, are holding out somewhat okay, and the Witch Elves pushing up and around this flank here with the Bloodrack Medusa, which so far has managed to rack up 51 kills. Definitely climbing very quickly. She's going to blast ELTHARION in the face there, but ELTHARION's not too happy about that. Soon he'll turn and start to fight the Medusa, but over here, just kind of blobbing up a little bit too much probably with my Cav, but the Lions are trying to get in on the Chariot and just keep it tied down and, of course, deal that sweet armor-piercing damage. Other Reavers just kind of staying mobile. I say staying mobile, actually getting terrified from that Bloodrack Medusa. But ELTHARION's ready. He's got his spear active. He's raining some light down. Gonna be just going after this Medusa tooth and nail. Likewise, the Lion Chariot, I haven't really been paying attention to too much, but they have been just absolutely mowing through infantry. They're one of the reasons that infantry fight went so decisively in my favor. Let's see, 41 kills already. Pretty good stuff. And the enrage is definitely becoming an issue. You can see the Silver and Guard getting enraged here. These Archers over here getting enraged, so I can't pull them away. But Witch Elves are relatively squishy, and the high charge bonus of Reavers means they can absolutely do a lot of damage, even despite the physical resistance and everything. But leaving them in sustained combat, they'll probably get enraged here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Yep, that means I can't pull them away in cycle charge, but the Witch Elves will take quite a bit of damage here. They're pretty heavily outnumbered regardless. And ELTHARION is just straight up pushing through. Oh yeah, here we go. ELTHARION with the Lion Chariots. Lion Chariots in the background just eating some witches. And ELTHARION pushing through, chasing down this foul Bloodrack. I do think ELTHARION is a little bit too expensive on the Griffin. I'm recording this on the pre-release. I'm assuming it's going to go live with the same balance. I haven't heard anything otherwise. But, yeah. ELTHARION, I think, on horseback, actually, it will be pretty decent as kind of a hybrid fighter caster lord that's you know, on horseback. Just the Griffin's too expensive for sure, but in this, guys, you can have a fighter caster lord who's relatively tanky, can fight a lot of different targets, has lore of high magic, which is quite good, and he's not too expensive. Go relatively wide here like I did, but at this point, balance power pretty heavily in my favor. You can see just the Bloodrack Shrine and the Medusa herself holding out, and ELTHARION seeing it away. So, yep. Nice victory for the High Elves over their Fel Dark Elf opponents. And absolutely fun build from Exploding Hamster. Definitely like the theme quite a bit. And I was surprised the Bloodrack Medusa was able to rack up 120 kills by the end of the game. XP Chevron. Pretty good stuff. I mean, a lot of people meme that the Bloodrack Medusas are not very good, but I think with the small buff they got, actually, they're potentially okay if you use them in the right way. Speaking of which, the War Lion's able to get on a high-value armored target here, do quite a bit of damage, and just their high charge bonus and weapon damage was great against a lot of these light targets. The Lion Chariots, too, nothing really to hold them back. I mean, the Harpies don't have the mass to stop them, and, I mean, they deal anti-infantry anyway, so they'll just wreck the Harpies, right? So, ended up being a pretty good kind of counter build to what he had, but ELTHARION as well, staying healthy until the late game, just casting, supporting magic all over. I'm still not super sold on him in terms of competitiveness, but we'll see. I definitely need to play around with him some more. But anyway, without me talking too much more, let's go ahead and get to the next replay. Next up, we're going bumper cars again, and to atone for my absolute potato game, apologies about that, still getting kinks in my new setup worked out, we've got Ikit Claw here, taking his Skaven Engineering up against Grom the Paunch's Goblin Engineering, so he's got, yeah, his own chariot, obviously, not too many other chariots, but he does have a Doomdiver Catapult here. I've got Ikit. A couple weapons teams, Warp Fire Throwers, I figured would be good for leadership damage, Rattling Guns just for some fun, for some control. We've got Warp Grinders, plenty of Rat Ogres, also a couple of them. I wanted to try the Mortars. They didn't get any changes, but I just wanted to try them out against kind of a Horde-style faction. These RORs are quite expensive, though, currently getting shelled. We've also got some Flayers and an Engineer. For the rest of the Gobos, got a couple Troll units, including the ROR, the Swamp Things. Going to be very strong in this matchup. Some nice cheap terror. Yeah, Gobos in the front line. We've got some hidden Night Gobos and Skulkers out to the wings. And, yeah, way in the back corner, we've got some additional Night Goblins. So I'm going to push forward here. I've got to push forward and get up on this Doomdiver. But once I get into range of the Mortar, I'm going to kind of pull up here and try and force Exploding Hamster to come towards me. Don't have that great of a front line, and without summons, we are going to run out of numbers pretty quick, but I'm confident I can potentially break up some of these Gobos with Ikit's Terror and so on, and just kind of win some decisive engagements here. But we're going to pull up and start to shoot the Doomdiver here with, yeah, with the stuff, with the slings here, and looks like a nice Vindictive Glare. You can see the various weapon teams have taken some damage, but let's check out the damage from the mortars as it rains in on these light Gobbo targets. It's actually doing some good damage. It does quite a few models down, actually 20 models down just from that one volley, so pretty good stuff there. We're going to charge the Rat Ogres over as well, try and win this flank pretty decisively. Meanwhile, in the back line, just controlling these Goblin Wolf Riders, making sure their speed's debuffed from that suppression effect. And the Flayers are going to push up and try and break this side. The Trolls came in and absolutely wrecked some of my chaff units, so Exploding Hamster making a nice push over on this side. Going to be quite nice. Looks like Fanatics in the front line as well. We're able to do some damage. A little late on charging in with these Tail Slashers, and the Warlock Engineer definitely need to be in with that Mortis effect, doing some damage to them. But yeah, we're going to push some units off the side here. I don't really have the resources to commit to chase off these various Goblin units. I really need Ikit and these Rat Ogres back in the mainline fight. Up here in the front, it's really not going great. These Rat Ogres managed to get caught out against the Unbreakable Night Gobbos, and yeah, that's a bad day for them for sure. Goblins also pushing through, and the timing push is definitely in the Greenskins' favor. We've been able to do a lot of damage to that back line, but that Doomdiver still being online is definitely a problem for me. You can see also Exploding Hamster doing a great job getting into my back line. Despite my best efforts, been able to break up a lot of these units, but just don't have the numbers here. And going to be friendly firing flamethrower, or rather rattling guns here with the flamethrowers. Just absolutely beautiful. You know, it's Skaven, just doing Skaven things. Meanwhile, up here, I'm kind of having to throw in the last reserve, get these Warp Grinders to lock down these River Trolls, try and break their leadership with Ikit Claw, and then still make some use of these Avalanche Mortars over here. A little bit late. I've got some units coming back from around the Doom Flayers. Unfortunately, the Nasty Skulkers are actually kind of a bad target for them. But, yeah, we're still going to get in and get done. These Rat Ogres also kind of over-chasing here against the Wolf Riders. Balance power definitely not in my favor, though. The Gobos have a good push going in the front line here. I don't really have a lot going. Finish off the Swamp Things, and although we're able to absolutely roast these trolls, the Rattling Gun's just mowing them down, too. Unfortunately, the other trolls, the Swamp Things, are pushing through, and they actually cause terror. I'm going to try and get in here and get a Flensing Ruin with Ikit. And again, the Warp Fire Throwers try and do that leadership damage, and the fire damage obviously very applicable against trolls. And it actually does quite a bit of damage to the Swamp Things. We're able to just about break them, but oh man, haven't been highlighting Grom at all. This entire game, he's just been running shop on my entire army. Basically this, all the time, all of this. A little bit of Warp Fire shots, trying to get him. Obviously, he's somewhat weak to fire damage, but just the Gobbo Swarm is too much. Way too many melee units here in a nice, patient full surround. And yeah, at this point, just doing my best. The Warlock Engineer, thankfully, with the Mortis effect, will continue even as they're chasing him off in melee. But here comes Ikit. Last charge, Death Frenzy, going full bumper cars with Grom. This is why you guys come here, right? To see carts bumping into each other. Because, yes, this is what Warhammer is about. Rat Ogres helping to make a stand. Meanwhile, the Gobos are all rushing in, all swarming in. Kind of the tail of the tape. Without the summons, the Skaven kind of get counter-swarmed by the Gobos, and I was definitely kicking myself. I was debating whether to bring the Engineer, which was going to be a little bit more thematic to the flavor of the army, or just a Warlock. Ooh, sorry. Sorry about that frame lag there. Or Plague Priest, rather, just to summon more bodies, right? And I definitely wish I had the Plague Priest. Having some summons here just to help break up this advance a little bit would have been really nice, help protect my weapons teams a little bit longer and just saturate some more bodies. I feel like we potentially could have pulled out a win there, but a great job by Exploding Hamster with a nice swarm here, swarming attack, just pressure on all fronts, finding the gaps and eventually getting through to my weapons teams. So clearly we have proved now twice that Gobbo Engineering is superior to Skaven Engineering. So back to the drawing board it is for Ikit. Better luck next time. But how about those mortars, man? I gotta start using these against Horde-style factions, including the Greenskins. 226 kills. I've been discounting them after they had been super nerfed, and then they got a little bit of a buff, and I hadn't really tried them too much after, but doing quite well. 101 kills on the Flares, also pretty nice, but they didn't do as much as I needed to. 99 on Ikit himself, but how about 130 for Grom the Paunch? Great job with these basic Gobbos, too. They just trade so well with the chaff of the Skaven, especially with Y active, 82, 92 there. Quite good stuff. So, yeah, 78 with the Wolf Rider Archers. Great job kind of using them to pressure. The River Trolls and the Doom Divers. Just honestly a great wide Gobbo build. So, I'm going to go feed my cat before the next replay, and we'll see you there. Next up, we've got Imric and a fire build from Exploding Hamster up against my classic Beastmen Rush. We've got Morgur here leading some spawn, a whole bunch of Ungor Spearmen, some weird Poison Hounds, Centigores, Sons of Goros as well. Bray Shaman Lore of Wild, mostly just purely for Viletide, that Vigor refresh. Some more Razorgores, slightly more expensive than before, but still very strong, and some nice Ungor Raiders. As for the fire build, Imric on his Star Dragon. We've also got an Arcane Phoenix and a Fire Mage on foot, some Silverin Guard, or yeah, just regular Spearmen actually to hold the line, and plenty of War Lions. So a nice themed build there. And let's have a look. Right off the bat, it looks like probably there was a breath attack on those Chaos spawn. I wonder if he would have, like, gotten right over Morgur and just breathed directly down on him. The fire damage would probably do a lot to Morgur, because he is weak to fire. And for those of you guys wondering, the High Elves, all of their Dragons' breath attacks do count as fire damage. They do not count as magic damage, so it's, you know, they'd be subject to physical resistance, and, fire weakness and fire resistance, but magic resistance doesn't really matter at all for that. In the front line here, we're going to charge in. The Lions are going to have a little bit of an issue in this matchup in that I don't really have any units that they're good against. I mean, I don't really have any armored units at all, really, besides maybe this chariot here. Granted, a lot of my units are weak to terror, but the Chaos Spawn charging in, they're going to do okay against Spearmen. It's more so just about providing some mass in this center, and also using them against the War Lions wherever they can kind of come in. Here, the War Lions are going to try and countercharge the Chaos Spawn, but again, the high weapon damage and poison will be good against the War Lions. We can also throw a nice Vile Tide, which will do some good damage to them as well. Gorbel and the Sons of Goros in the front line having to fight Imrik. Just maybe not the best thing for them, but looks like an Overcast Flaming Sword of Ruin there. For the High Elves, we'll give them a nice power spike timed with the Dragon Horn especially. That was pretty good for the extra weapon strength. Nice Burning Head goes down the line to roast out a bunch of the Beastmen, but the mass now in the center here. We've got all the Chaos Spawn. The Razor Gores are also coming through. The Spawn summons. Timing push is active, right? So there's just a lot to have to deal with right now. The Razor Gore Chariots have taken a lot of damage, but, they kind of acted as a bit of a distraction here. We do still have a couple of healthy units of War Lions right here. So my Ungor Raiders are providing some nice backline coverage, just doing some very cost-effective DPS. The low armor of those Lions. War Lions definitely very glass cannon. It can get killed super easy, and we've seen replays on both sides of them both doing very well, getting a lot of work done, and also just getting absolutely killed. And it's pretty appropriate. I feel like the unit is pretty well tuned to its design. I'm curious to see how it'll end up going in competitive play. I do think this is one matchup where I don't think you'll see the War Lions much. The Lion Chariot, on the other hand, I think would probably be very good here to mop up light Skaven infantry. But the War Lions, I mean, there's just not that many, like I said, there's not that many armored targets you would want to go after in this matchup, besides maybe a character on a Chariot or the Chariots themselves. Bestigor, probably not a super common pick in this matchup. Silver and Guard, though, I would think would be very, very good here. The Expert Charge Defense is going to be very good against all Beastmen infantry. The Magic Resistance helps against, the Vile Tide explosions. And, yeah. It's an interesting one. At this point, the Beastman push is a lot. This Arcane Phoenix has kind of been caught up the whole time. He dove down. I haven't really highlighted it too much, but he dove down, and he's just had a hard time getting back up in the air because of all this mass here. You got, the spawns, the chariots. There's just the Razor Gores as well, and that's kind of the idea here, is this is a pretty concerted rush, pretty heavy push with the spawn especially, and you just have so much mass that these flying units, whenever they land, wherever they land, you're going to have a response to try and keep them on the ground and keep them from getting back up in the air. So pretty happy with how it went this time. I was a little bit scared Morgr was just going to get absolutely his face wrecked by Imrik, which is currently what's happening. We'll get in close to enjoy some of this scenery, because this is what everyone really wants to see, is Morgr get his face absolutely eaten by Imrik. But Imrik instead actually goes down to the pigs. Morgr lives to fight another day. And, yeah, does he actually? Yeah, he's still there. Barely, probably. But, yeah, a fun one, for sure. This Beastman build, I've used some variations of it to some pretty good success. I mean, just the spawn, where they're at right now, especially with Morgr being able to summon a couple more, just a couple in your build, do a lot of damage to the right targets. In this matchup, they were actually able to do a lot of damage to the War Lions. Along with the magic I had, the spears, they're okay. They're a nice kind of anti-large frontline chaff unit. Honestly, I think they might be the best low-tier spear unit in the game, in my opinion. Yeah, the Razor Gores, even with the cost increase, they're still going to be very cost-effective, especially just one or two, like I use them here, kind of backline mass protection. And, yeah, that's actually all the replays I have. Unfortunately, I'm casting this kind of late, and I don't have... Exploding Hamster, I'm sure, has the other replays, but unfortunately don't have time to get them from him. This is actually the last night before the patch goes live. I just have been delayed in... getting this thing recorded, unfortunately. But what that does mean is I can tell you guys, if you want to see how this ends, go on over to Exploding Hamster's channel. He'll have the other replays up, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe you can learn a little German on the way, even if you don't understand necessarily the cast. I mean, Warhammer is pretty universal, right? I'm sure you'll see what's happening and see the outcome at the very least. And definitely give him a like for me on all his videos. I actually took some German in middle school, so I've been recently enjoying watching his videos and streams, kind of trying to pick out words that I remember and phrases and see how much I actually understand. It's pretty fun, I have to say. But a big thanks to Exploding Hamster once again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.